This is the Galaxy A26, a new budget-friendly phone from Samsung. So is this the right Samsung mid-ranger for you and, well, for GSM Arena? And let's find out in our Samsung Galaxy A26 review. Each year, Samsung's less expensive phones get better as more features trickle down from higher-tier models. And that's just what we see on the Galaxy A26, which brings the chipset of last year's A35 plus some new refinements. These include a glass back instead of plastic. And not only that, it's extra durable. Gorilla Glass Victus Plus on the back and the front. The phone's frame is still plastic though. While the A26 is larger than last year, it's thinner and feels comfy in the hand. Samsung has also granted ingress protection to the Galaxy A26 with an IP67 rating against dust and water submersion. The A25 wasn't rated at all. So this is a welcome improvement. The display of the A26 is a 6.7-inch, all lit up from 6.5 inches last year. There's again an AP resolution and a 120 Hz refresh rate. The refresh rate means that swiping and scrolling are quite smooth. Unlike on other phones, though, the refresh rate isn't adaptive to save energy. It stays fixed, either 120 Hz or 60. Another way in which the Galaxy A26 falls behind is when it comes to max brightness. We measured only up to around 370 nits with a manual slider, and this boosted to a maximum of about 780 minutes in auto mode, is for some reason considerably less than the previous model and not quite enough for comfy use outdoors. There is no official support for HDR video playback here, but that's expected at this price point. And still, this display is plenty sharp and contrasty when it comes to audio. Samsung has made a couple of interesting choices. They've done away with both the 3.5mm headphone jack and stereo speakers. Instead, the 26 has a single bottom firing speaker. It earned a score of good for loudness, but the sound quality isn't great. Music sounds dull and tinny and with virtually no bass. You can check it out for yourself through the comparison tool linked below. At least they've kept the micro SD slot for this generation. Besides expandable storage, you get the option for 128 or 256 gigs on board. On higher tier Samsung phones, you get an under-display fingerprint reader, but the A26 still uses a side-mounted one. It's quick and fairly reliable. All of the new Samsung phones are coming out with the latest One UI 7 on board on top of Android 15. And while the A26 is no flagship, it actually comes with many of the same software features. What you don't get here are Samsung's DeX and the full suite of AI-based features. But there is still some onboard air. Select can analyze the screen's content in detail and gives you options to grab text or photos on screen and even create GIFs from videos. The object eraser is available too in the native gallery app, and it works okay, but not as good as on the flagships. And on top of it, you get plenty of AI functionality through Google's Gemini Assistant. If you'd like to find out more about One UI 7 specific features, you can check out our dedicated video. Samsung has really extended the software support for its new mid-rangers to the Galaxy A26 will get 6 major OS updates and 6 years of security patches. The chipset of the Galaxy A26 is an Exynos 1380, at least in our global review unit. For some reason, a few countries get a version with an Exynos 1280. The same as in last year's model. At least the global model gets a bit of an upgrade. The Exynos 1380 was first used in the Galaxy A54 and then the Galaxy A35, trickling down through the generations. In benchmarks, this is no powerhouse, but it provides 5G connectivity and adequate performance for the price. Day-to-day tasks run decently well, and you can do some light gaming here too. As far as the thermals go, we actually saw more throttling than we expected considering the modest chipset, but it's nothing alarming. While the Galaxy A26 has a large 5,000 power battery, the battery life leaves more to be desired. The phone earned an active use score of 10 hours and 44 minutes, which falls behind most other competitors these days. There's support for 25-watt charging here, but as typical for Samsung, there's no charger in the box. With a proper adapter, we were able to charge the phone from 0 to 51% in half an hour, and a full charge took 86 minutes. Just the same as last year. Now, onto the cameras. On the back, there's a main kin, an ultra-wide and a macro camera, just like the A25. Let's start off with the main camera. It can produce decent-looking shots with nice colors, But outside of perfect lighting conditions, the sharpness and detail deteriorate fast, and you see some graininess and shadows. There were some focusing issues in the shots, and we even noticed focus hunting while shooting. And here's a look at some shots of people taken in portrait mode when zooming in digitally at 2x. The results are considerably softer, noisier, and less detailed. In the dark, the Galaxy A26 prefers to use this automatic night mode processing. This brightens up shadows and reduces noise. Still, the phone generally takes soft photos with errors in the colors and white balance. Photos from the ultra-wide camera come out somewhat soft, but colors in contrast are decent. While the results aren't impressive, they're okay for the budget. Here's a look at ultra-wide photos taken at night. Regardless of the automatic night mode, the photos come out grainy with not much fine detail. The colors are once again off, but not as much as on the main camera for some reason. The 2-megapixel macro cam can take some usable close-ups, but the details are impressive. As expected, this resolution and selfies are taken with the 13-megapixel front-facing cam. These are actually very good. They're pretty colorful, detailed, and sharp, even in more challenging lighting conditions. The photos come out pretty good. The Galaxy A26 can record videos in 4K with the main cam, but the ultra-wide and selfie cameras are capped a tiny deep. The main camera produces videos that seem soft for 4K resolution, and it tends to go for lower exposure, colors, contrast, and dynamic range. On the other hand, seem to be on point. The ultra-wide 10 EVP video is rather soft and lacks fine detail, but dynamic range, colors, and contrast are good. Electronic stabilization does a decent job to smooth things out too, but is only supported in 10 deep resolution in the nighttime. Footage from a main cam seems pretty good. There isn't too much noise and sharpness is decent. However, there have also been downgrades. The screen isn't as bright and you lose the headphone jack and stereo speakers. Plus, you can find competitors with better battery life, charging, speed, and chipset performance. There are plenty of solid options at this price, and because of that, the Galaxy A26 is tough to recommend. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're looking for alternatives, you can check out our reviews of the Xiaomi Redmi Note 14 Pro 5G and Samsung's own Galaxy A35. Let us know what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.